Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you on a culinary journey to understand the whys behind our diets and desires. Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. My guest today is Ryan Sprague. Ryan's a good friend of mine, as well as he's been managing over at Ryan, what was the place you said you were managing at right now for the coffee shop?
Copper Door.
The Copper Door. Well,
Ryan, Coffee Roasters.
Ryan, welcome to the show.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Things are going good today. How are you?
Good, dude. The weather's beautiful. Went on like a almost 4-mile walk with the little dude earlier, so that was fun.
Yeah, how's that shift been into being a new father? How's that going?
It's so cool. It's funny because like when you don't have kids, and even like, both my sisters have kids, like I have a mom, like, people with kids, you think you may know what it is, or like, I see them, I see like what that's like. And then it's just like, it's completely different. it's really cool. It's like, I don't know if I remember even like the first 2 weeks, it's like tiring,
Right.
And I was always the guy who's like in bed early, getting up early, taking a cold shower, like had my routines down. So it's been a change, but like it's also like beautiful to see like what we're capable of and like what we created and like what we have now and like what we're experiencing and who we get to do that with. And it's cool, man.
I think that's great, as well as I've known you long enough now to know that you'll be such a strong physical and mental example for your son.
Yeah. Like I turned 35 on Saturday, and it's like, I'm glad I'm not 25 type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it. I'll be 35 in January of next year, but even being 34, it's one and the same.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Either way, same, but it's cool. Yeah.
No, that's great. As well as that must kind of either shift or let you kind of grow into your relationship with food currently, I would assume, or is it like things change? How does that look for you?
So I always try to keep it similar, but it is funny because like things in life happen, Naomi got pregnant last April, May, and like we were going to go to the Bahamas in October. So it's like, I really focused through the summer. Like, there's things that you kind of like are like, I'm going to really be on point for certain activities. And then there's things like, after October came, it was all the holidays through the winter. Naomi's getting more pregnant. We're just chilling, relaxing, and we're ordering pizza. We're, we gotta get in and out every once in a while because we're busy and things are just different, But no, now that he's here and we're getting not like kind of like a routine, we've both been like focusing more on protein intake. And it's funny because like once you've been doing it a while and once you understand what you're doing, because like I weigh the same now as I did like, back in November, but like I can see my body composition is different just from going from like all the foods we consumed through the winter till now, like focusing more on literally just eating more protein. We haven't really tracked macros. We haven't done anything other than just like focus on intaking more protein. And I weigh the same. But like you look in the mirror and you can tell differences. So like at this point in the journey, like it's cool to know that like if you do get off track, like I've done it like multiple times now, you're like, oh, this isn't like necessarily how I want to feel or how I want to look or how I like to like carry myself. But it's like, easily that you're capable just through the mindset of nutrition and control, because it is a control thing most of the time because food is fucking delicious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, everybody loves the shit. So it's like, I get it. But it's just like little things that you can do that seem difficult at first. You know what I mean? Like nothing is easy when you start it.
No, and when I met you, you were really on track with everything as far as the experience that you've had in the gym, and with
Yeah.
nutrition. And
And
you've
that was
always
just at
been
the
very
beginning.
dialed in.
Yeah. Cause it's also like, it's like with work or anything, like if I'm going to like spend my time and energy doing something, like I may be like making a paycheck and, working for someone else, but like it is my time and effort. Like I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So like when I went to the gym, it kind of like all of that kind of just translated and works. You know what I mean? It's like, cause it's like, work is something like I'll be honest, like I've never enjoyed or thought that anyone should, spend 40 hours at work instead of at home with their family and type of thing, and I feel that now more than ever, but I understand society and I get things. But I enjoy doing my thing. But that has also like ingrained something in me that I think made me better at doing that.
Right. And like speaking of things that are ingrained with you, walk me back through a little bit of your childhood and how eating for you growing up was.
So I think we just kind of, I don't know, man. I think the 90s was like, mostly like home cooked stuff. Like you obviously had baseball games and went and ate McDonald's. You like, there wasn't any like social media and the internet blew up the world with what you should eat. But I also think food has gotten more processed. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's also like what we ate back then may not be the same if you ate it today type of thing. But we ate, we ate kind of anything growing up, but like none of my family was like affected by it, like, in a like physical way. My sister has type 1 diabetes, which isn't like type 2, like from eating shitty food. It's like genetic.
You're born with it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you basically like, spaghetti, grow up eating the normal like sloppy joes sometimes, just the
Sure.
normal, American 90s kid diet. And then dude, when I was on my own, like I worked at Sonic from when I was 19 till I was 23, 24. And so I ingested a lot of that, tons of that. I lived behind a Quick Trip for a while. Like that, my health journey probably started in like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was probably like 27, probably like 8 years ish ago. But before that, yeah, dude, it was, I was growing up. I was, I was a little stoner, dude. I was eating anything and everything. Like I had a high metabolism, didn't really matter. I was like skinny, fat, a little scrawny, like, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, no, I worked at Sonic for a hot minute, didn't really like have a necessary vision, and then like went back to college because I was like, that'll put me in the right direction. Did that, got my degree, worked like an office job at a desk for like a year, man, and then was like, I think I'm just gonna head to the mountains because this ain't it.
Right. And tell me about just that inspiration or that aha moment of wanting change, wanting something different in your life.
Oh, dude, I think that was it. It was like, I was working fast food and I was like, this obviously isn't it. You know what I mean? And then I was like,
Sure.
screw it. I'm gonna do what my, like girlfriend at the time did, went to college. I'm gonna get a job, got a job at the same company she got a job for. I was like, okay, this will put me where I need to be, where I should be, type of thing, right? And then I did it and I was like, but that's not what I wanted at all. So like went through the whole process of just like going through things that I thought would, be it, and just continuously like figuring out what kind of like what you don't want to do. But it's like very grateful that I didn't like get stuck like a lot of people. But I think I worked that job and sat at that desk, man, and just like I'd been to Colorado, you know, multiple times through my childhood, through my teens, through, as an adult. Um, and yeah, man, I don't know. One day I was just like at work and I was like, I think I'm going to try to, I think I'm going to try to move to Colorado and work in the weed industry, dude. And everyone thought I was crazy. Like most people probably would, but it worked, man. It was a journey. It worked. I had a cousin here in Colorado who I used his address. I had a Colorado driver's license and like my MED badge before I even lived here. I was like set up with everything back home and like finally was like, all right, today's the day. I like put my 2 weeks in, took my 401k out, like the money they had matched me and the money that I had put in for the whole year that I worked at that company, and was like, later.
That's kind of how it was for me in Minnesota.
Yeah. What year was that?
2012, because
Okay.
the way that I got out here was sort of similar, just because I had so many friends in the early 2000s that were moving here, and it just it worked for a lot of people, but for me, for a while, there was a lot of things like leases and college, and I had just gotten to Minnesota, so I think my parents would have been pretty pissed if I just kind of ditched college altogether and then just went to Colorado and never tried it, you know? Because I went to like a music program, like for entertainment business, production, recording. They offer different things in that nature out of the
That's
school.
cool.
And yeah, it was great. In Minnesota, it was cool just because it was so different than just being a guy from Kansas. It was so different than just anything. All my friends were kind of, I don't want to say it, copping out and just getting business degrees, but like they didn't know what else to do.
That's what I did, dude.
Yeah. I just had friends in from high school. They like didn't know what else to do because that like their literal moms and dads were calling them losers if they didn't go to college.
I didn't have that, thankfully, but like I was like, I don't know, like I said, I was working at Sonic and just like, what am I doing now? Like I'm like 23, 24, and it's like, huh.
Yeah, I know. I felt the same. I did feel a little bit of pull from that, getting out of Kansas and trying to go to an educational
Where'd you
program.
grow up again?
In Overland Park.
Yeah, dude. Okay, yeah. We literally grew up right down the street from each other.
Because that's what we used to talk about at the gym.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I just tried to be in this progressive amounts of change where I saw things flowering and things were kind of depleting in Minnesota. And, at the time, I just knew too many people who were taking pride in their partying, festivals and concerts. And hey, not to say that I didn't do that for then another almost 10 years out here.
Yeah, right.
So I'm a total hypocrite. There's no like balance in that. It just that I found that the community of people that I was rubbing elbows with in Colorado when I would come here to visit was just much more fruitful than the people in Minnesota. And hey, I still have relationships and friendships with friends in Minnesota that have either moved here or stayed or whatever. But my point is just that, when I got out here, it was just so different for me because eating right, taking care of myself, all of those things that have kind of been one of Colorado's biggest staples forever, I didn't give a shit about. I just wanted to go to every Red Rocks concert and ride the next ride of the after parties and, hang out with people who never probably actually enjoyed my company, or if they did, they were validating it on experiences through drugs and alcohol. And, it kind of came to an emotional crashing wave in 2020 when I just realized at least that who your real friends are, the hundreds of people that aren't your actual friends and they're completely surface relationships, even if you're on a one-to-one name by name relationship, it's you just don't really know those people well enough to call them your homies.
Compared to back in the day, I there's not very many people that get my time, dude. Like very few. But like for good reason. And you're busier, you're more grown. But like that's so true. It's a real thing.
Well, and I've noticed too that there's just been a major shift in the kind of jam band, electronica, whatever you want to, throw the genre in for, the mixture of partying super, super hard and going to live music and like kind of making that your main priority. It's not that people don't do it, and it's not something that is unpopular by any stretch of the imagination. I just know a lot of people who, like myself, have just dialed it back to like notch one as opposed
I go
to
we go to reggae shows, dude. we go to reggae shows, dude.
Yep.
We're chilling.
Yeah, so I mean it's now just a bigger priority for me to focus on spending and voting with my dollar to things that are healthier for me, activities or physical, modalities such as the wood burning sauna, the cold plunges, real food in the house, dense, nutrient, rich food. I mean, that's all I care about.
Like we're making pancakes sometimes, but like, we're mixing the flour with the egg and the, so it's like not a whole food, but you're still, I think there's something about like the energy that's put into the food while you're making it too. And like most places, you go out that aren't prepared well or that healthy for you. Like the person making it also probably doesn't really care about it. And that has an effect on just like the whole cycle of what you're consuming type of thing.
Speaking of pancakes, yeah. Oh, no,
let's talk about pancakes, dude.
So my homegirl Lauren Kansky has probably the best pancake hack I've ever seen in my whole life. She figured out, probably by other sources, but she's really put a flag in it and has made them just perfect on her story and her Instagram. She's posted about it a bunch because she is a coach. She's like one of the founding coaches of an app called Ladder. It's really, really awesome. Neen Williams and a bunch of other people who he's the skateboarder that kettlebell.
Not a damn chance. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of their coaches. So just using frame of reference. But she discovered through whoever or whatever that you can take one banana for every, I think, 2 eggs, and you mix them together and just make like that, slurry. And she'll even sometimes, I think, or other people I've seen throw protein powder, just like a little sprinkle.
Yeah, we usually do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll put that, mix it all, or like maybe bananas or raspberries or something, to make the pancake. And she'll either bake them because she'll make little spots on the tray and just throw them in the oven, or she'll just
sounds fun.
Or just fry them up right on the cast iron because they get all crispy and nice and delicious.
Yeah, but we've done the eggs and bananas only, and then with also even like a little vanilla and cinnamon. Shit's delicious.
I mean, dude, it's great. I love these little shifts that people are seeing and making and finding about all sorts of things to just, make it a little bit more dense, a little bit easier on the body, a little less processed, but it still like lives through that idea of, it's a pancake, I'm having pancakes.
But also, we have a 9-year-old and a newborn now, and those dense, like sometimes they want like a fluffy old pancake, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that you can, like that's the ones I made this morning, and they're delicious, and they're you're using the organic King Arthur's flour. You're using the right stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're not as healthy as your 2 eggs and your banana, but like they're good.
Well, and I think that just brings on to another great point because they have like
the protein powder in it, like literally,
exactly.
You're putting the good stuff in there, so they're fun.
Well, and I think that just brings up to another amazing point, though, is that you just said right there, you're using the King Arthur's flour. You're sourcing things that are still whole. You're not just buying the cheapest, whitest, bleached, most processed flour that you can find.
The Kodiak cakes, like pre-mixed.
The greenwashing.
Not saying that, and not saying like not trying to knock anyone's. Like I'm sure people eat that, but like.
There's a lot of greenwashing, though, that goes along with that kind of thing of, throwing protein numbers and other marketing hooks to get you to buy the thing that ultimately could still contain seed oils, extra calorically dense products that you just don't need.
Yeah, correct. And that's like this, the seed oils things is something that like I avoid it at all costs. I don't like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, because of this, this, and this, it's just something I've decided that I avoid. And I don't like, cause I'm not like a
Me
scientist.
too.
I'm not like a, I can't be like, this is exactly why. I just don't feel like I want to ingest a bunch of extra oils into my body that are super processed. So that's like my main reasoning. It's not like a enjoyable food that is like, oh, this oil makes my food better. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we'll just avoid that.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's in most things that aren't great for you are filled with them also. So that's kind of a sign, I guess, in my mind.
no, I mean, I'm on the same page. I really avoid seed oils or other
Yeah.
processed
High
oils at all
fructose
cost.
corn syrup. Yeah. Any of the things.
And I just don't crave those things anymore now that I
No.
don't, like, choose to ingest them.
Yeah.
Like
It
the
does,
candies,
dude.
the cakes, the snacky stuff, the hardcore.
It 100% changes, dude. And it's funny too, because I can be like like I said, we have the 9-year-old to newborn. I have like Naomi, my fiance, and they need variety. But dude, like I could eat the same shit every day, dude. I was doing like a strict little thing when I lived in Florida, and I'm positive I ate French toast like 3 months in a row every single morning, dude. And to the point where Zoe, Naomi's daughter, was like, Ryan, can we please, like, can you make something different? I was like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I was like, it's just easy. It's delicious. And it's got a bunch of calories because that's what I'm going for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have really bought into the idea now for the last year and a half of moving more or around the same amount of calories that I'm eating because I now understand the pairing and the true synergy of how much work you put in
Yeah.
versus how much food you're eating.
Yeah. And like I said, I was still, when I wasn't eating as much protein and going through the winter, like I was still like putting in work, you know what I mean? But like that's where when people are like nutrition is a lot of the game, and it's 100% true.
Yeah, because I really finally discovered the like aha boom mind blowing type of, I guess, just grand scheme realization that there was just at one point where I was just eating too much food versus
Yeah.
how much I thought I was working out.
Yeah. Well, so that's where like I said, through you, it's like you can watch anyone and everyone on Instagram and social media be like, do this and that and that and this and this and that and that and this. But then like after you've done it for years, like I said, I've gone through peaks and valleys of like eating really healthy or going through situations where life is busy. So you kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. And then, but like those things get people down a lot of the time. And like sometimes, like I said, sometimes you don't feel your best, but like you learn so much about yourself and like your nutrition and your activity level and like the foods that you're eating and like what affects you like through those processes, that like when you come out and like it's been years now and I've done that multiple times, like I know exactly why that happened. Like I'm not ignorant now, and I know that like after we got back from the Bahamas, I was also like, you know what, it's the winter, I don't care, I don't have anything to do, I have a pregnant fiance, we're kicking it, it's cold, it's Christmas, I'm eating all the desserts, like you know what I mean, like sometimes life just happens and you enjoy it in different ways. A lot of the times you enjoy it in the gym. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy this pregnancy with my fiance and we're gonna eat whatever the hell we want. Because it's like not worth like, I also think like having such restrictions on yourself and stressing about it all the time, like it's not healthy, even if you're doing all the healthy things. Like if you're not wanting to do it and you absolutely hate it, but you're forcing yourself to do it, I don't know if that's really that healthy. Or like, you know what I mean? If you're not enjoying your existence and your daily life, like shit, maybe switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that you really nailed a lot of great points there because I was just talking to a gentleman recently that I had on my podcast last week, who was explaining to me that, you know, when he started his journey of getting more fit and losing weight, and he's lost 100 pounds right now. And he was just explaining that your mental health is the most important thing before you start getting your physical health in check. Because even when he started and he said he was overweight by XYZ and this, that, and the third, and had all these issues, but mentally felt great because he finally had tackled the demons. He had finally controlled what needed to be that was just taking over his mind at such, epic cost. And so then, because his mental health was just skipping along rainbows and daisies, so to speak,
Yeah.
It's more of like got to a place and was able to continue. I'm sure, again, peaks and valleys. But
yeah.
It was so inspiring to hear that he was mentally ready to start losing the weight. And then it just also physically started coming off because showing up to the work, showing up to this, doing pickleball, building communities, this.
Yeah, enjoying what you're doing.
Exactly.
Is a big part of it. Yeah.
Because even he said, even though he had gotten to the point of getting to a bigger guy and he was just eating whatever he wanted, and it's like he didn't care because his mental health was right there. But then it just started to become a physical thing where the real obesity was like, okay, we need to actually dial this in for life, being a member of a family, etc.
I would say that is definitely a good point too, that like the mental part, just like the nutrition, just like the exercise, like it's all important. And I do, like it's funny. It's been tough lately, but I like the other morning I meditated every time I like am in the sauna or I'm in the steam room. Like it's, the one timer, the little app is like always on. But like I probably started that a lot and like halfway through, like I got my gym membership in like January 2018, and just was kind of like doing stuff. Like I said, I was like 167 pounds or something. Like I was just skinny and like, I was like, well, this will help me do something. I didn't know what, but like I knew like I just had extra time on my hands and like was just working and was like, just went and got a gym membership, but like I wasn't meditating. I wasn't like sitting with myself. We just had that conversation the other day. I think it's really important. And sometimes it feels silly and like pointless, because I like to do the ones with like people talking or just like, and it's like, you're just sitting there having this person tell you these wonderful things. And it's like, sometimes people be like, that feels silly. But like, you almost sit there and you do it so much that you you kind of get it. And you're like, it's not about how silly, it's about like believing the things that they're saying because they can be true type of thing. Or just, like taking your mind off of what's happening in your life and focusing on the words that person is saying kind of thing. And it's all, it's always, like repeat after me, like the I love yous. It's like, if you're not filling your cup up with things that are going to make your like existence easier and more peaceful for yourself, then it's like, it's hard to like get that from others. Like it's hard. And I don't think it's also hard to realize that type of thing.
Yeah, I love the quote. The magic that you are seeking is in the work that you are avoiding.
Yeah, no, there's not much that's like more true than that, I don't think.
Yeah, because there's the simplicity. I was having this conversation with my buddy Bobby and my buddy Sean the other night at our run club. Is that I've dialed back things into such a simplistic manner, and
Yeah.
nothing else. I don't care about the next hype, the next party, the next thing.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
my community of people that I care about, different events. That's aside from this. What I'm saying is that there are all these things that used to sort of like FOMO stress me out. I'd be like, oh man, I'm missing so many of these events, so many of these groundbreaking moments that I'm going to have at these social gatherings. And you put this picture into your head that it's going to be this, Garden of Eden party vibe, and it's just all, God light and amazingness. But I'm not trying to say that every social event or anything, or I'm social. I'm a
Yeah.
butterfly. I get out. I have my
Yeah.
fun. I get down and boogie and cut some rugs. But what I'm saying is that there's just nothing that is so important to me that it's gonna bother me anymore. Like so much
Yeah.
to just, oh man, I have to like look at these events that I'm not gonna go to. I'm gonna look at these. I used to like scroll down and look at festivals or lineups or other things and try to plan in my head like, oh, what would it be like if I went to ABC? And it builds too much stress.
Yeah.
It builds
No,
too
I'm
much
at the
stress.
We're at the point where it's like, you know what, dude, if we get to go see Revolution in August, like that would be a blessing. Like that would be so cool.
Boom.
It goes from like trying to see like 10 in the summer to like, dude, if I get to see that last one at the end of the summer, like I'll be so happy and it'll be cool. But
Yeah, just
also,
think, yeah.
I'm not worried about missing any of the other things. And like, if that doesn't happen, I also like, you understand why.
Yeah, you have a grounding sense of that there are just these bigger things for me that stack into more of a like compound of interest, if you will. The multiple nights that I've missed the best night of our lives, versus, hey man, I got to sauna tonight. I got to sit in some cold water and my thoughts were stilled by
Yep.
Japanese lo-fi. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it's just
yeah.
I have those moments of peace from. It's almost like even when you are done with all of the big stressors and the crazy work that you put in against all the quote unquote demons and life and whatnot, you don't realize that there are these little storage pockets in the soul where they like to still little creep up, almost like Eric Andre's character in the Simpsons. I can't remember what they did, where it's like the medieval version of the Simpsons, where Matt Groening made like a series where it's all medieval back in time. It's slipping my mind what the name of the show was. Oh, Disenchanted, or yeah, something like that. But yeah, you really have to use these modalities and these tools to work and sit with yourself, because if you don't, all of these things might come up. For me, at least, this is what happened to me personally. It's just I just realized that if I don't do these things and this work, and I put in all this mental effort with things, that anything in public is just going to be like I'm out on stage and I'm frightened and I'm white in the face because I haven't sat with myself enough to then be able to give that energy to people properly without projecting, without saying just straight negative stuff when people are asking how you're doing.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing, because like you get used to it. Like when we went to the Bahamas, like, obviously for 7 days I'm on the beach, and like, yeah, the hotel had a little gym, and I, threw a kettlebell around here and there for a sec, but like my focus was like relaxation, but not through my normal like modes of like exercising and steaming and sauna and like meditation. It was through just chilling on the beach and having some food and free drinks and, but like I loved it and I really enjoyed it. But when I got back, I was like, I can't wait to go to the gym and like live. Like I knew that like it felt weird that I hadn't been doing what I'm used to and that like what makes me feel peaceful. I almost felt like anxious and like I had like missed doing something. It was just kind of weird because I was on vacation and I really loved it and enjoyed it. But it also like puts into perspective like how important your routine of doing the things that like get you into that headspace are.
Yeah, because it's like I was saying earlier, I realized about a year and a half ago, pretty on stop halt, that everything I was doing was just so halfway in, just sort of working. Yeah, like you said, I was just going to the gym and doing stuff, and then I had this kind of realization when I was at the gym one time and I had a friend who I was working out with, and, they were trying to have me do stuff they were doing. And I was just like, I just don't really feel like doing this, And then they blew their shoulder out that day. And it was just kind of like, well, what are we even like? What are you doing? Like
this didn't end up being fun.
Yeah, it's like you're lifting weight that's too heavy for you. Like you can't bench this. And so
but I just kind of like, dude, we can try it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of just like snaked me all over the place for a while. And I was always, at the time I was still dealing with my probation and just judges and court stuff, and because my choices held on to me for over 5 years of being in the court system. And, people don't put it into perspective that I just got off probation in 2023. Like I just got done. I know it's now 2 years almost to the date, but when you're caught up for that long, it almost is like a really toxic relationship that lasted that long, that it kind of just sticks with you. I mean, I was literally at a vintage toy and guitar show just last weekend, saw a guy I was in jail with who was working, an older gentleman. But it's just like, it's moments like that that just bring you back to where you came from and where those moments of change, whether it was the food I was eating, which, played a role in my mental health, which played a role into my physical health, which is all about these sort of conversations that I stew up with people where, we tend to think that these ideas of certain things are only rooted to these certain events or people or things. But when those events are over and those things you carry with your whole life, I've seen with more folks that food has something to do with that current state, whether it's, you dealt with this and that, and now some of the processed foods or those certain fried goodness or the, seasonings that something that people are clicked in by, and then it becomes an addiction. And they don't even realize that it is an addiction, because food is something that we all have to put into this box. I say this all the time, so I apologize if people, thousandth time I've heard people heard this from me, but everybody has to eat. Everybody has to, you have to feed two, three people on top of yourself now. I mean, Naomi obviously is with you on that team of feeding herself and you, but the both of you now feed 2 other people. So it's it's just a wild concept to think about at one point, kind of like what you were saying in the beginning of it, where you and I grew up in the 90s, our moms and dads, there was a lot of coupon cutting, a lot of deals, sort of processed food, yes, but
Yeah.
mixed in with whole food. You
Yeah.
know, it's like I would eat.
I feel like it was
canned
like
fruit
never
for
more
dessert.
one than the other, or like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, I think that the real thing that it came down to was whole meal dinner, processed dessert. You know,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
cakes, cookies, ice cream, the all the
Yeah.
brands, all the Reese's and all the
Yeah.
candy, and I mean Halloween in the 90s. Shut it the
Nuts,
fuck
dude.
down.
Absolutely.
Like pillow bags of
Yeah, the
candy.
pillowcase is full of candy, dude.
Dude, it's just, all sorts of. I would eat frosting out of the cup or out of the.
I also, but it's funny though, because like, we didn't have the information back then, and it's weird. And like I said, like no shade on anyone, but it's weird how like much science is out there now that like those products that are processed probably have a pretty like profoundly negative effect on your body and your mind. Yet that's not enough to get like the middle aisles of the grocery stores changed, or I don't know. Like it's just a weird thing. Like it is cool though, because with social media, like they did try to, they're getting the red dyes banned and stuff, but it's also like, I don't know, man. We shouldn't have to prove, like, if something's proven to not be good for you, we shouldn't have to fight you to stop putting it in our stuff.
Yeah, there should be no
We should kind of
argument.
just be like, hey, that is not good for you. We'll stop using it. Yes, you found out because of all of the information that is put in front of your faces every day now. But like, we know this stuff now. We like it. It should change, and I think that's what's cool. It is changing.
I
And I
do
think
believe
like
that as well.
more and more people wake up, more and more people want to have healthy kids and not, wired on all the processed sugars and dyes and things that are in their cereal and snacks. You know what I mean? So like we don't have cereal in the house ever unless it's like the like 10, sometimes like, we got the 9-year-old. So sometimes it's like, here's a quick fun little meal, but it's like
You're a
it's like
kid.
an
Live it up.
$11 box of cereal, dude. It's like, what is this?
Inflation is real. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but
I
because you try to
remember.
get the healthy cereal, and it's like,
True.
you're gonna pay for that, dude.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember back in the day, like my mom would always bargain with me. I remember like straight up, she told me no one time when I was a kid when I wanted Cookie Crisp, but that's realistic.
Yeah,
And I cried, and I was a
yeah.
child, and whatever.
Candy for breakfast, dude.
Yeah, the commercial got me, but she would always like kind of meet you in the middle with like my brother and sister, I guess, because back in those days, cereal was, got to be at school quick, so you got to have something quick.
Yeah, you always
And
were eating it. Yeah,
yeah, but most of the time too, there was a good period of life where we were eating the more plain cereals like regular Cheerios, but then she'd be like,
yeah,
"We'll cut up a banana, throw some raspberries and a drizzle of honey on that, and like call it a day." So those are the kind of things I learned to enjoy, or other things, but nobody should ever have to argue with anybody that a bowl of Lucky Charms is healthier than ground beef. I mean, if you can believe that, because like I had heard some, maybe it was clickbait, maybe it wasn't, but
I know the chart you're talking about, dude. And I don't know. I because it is funny. Well, it's weird, man. Because like it's 2025, dude. We got the internet. We have everything in front of our faces, and you see things that are real sometimes. That it's just like, that's no way in hell is that real, and it is.
yeah.
And it's real, dude.
Who at Kellogg's got paid to put this up?
Yeah.
And that's like, where are my boys from Frank's Butcher Shop? Where are my guys from Western Daughters? Where are my real butchers at? Like, just coming for these people. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, it's for me. I try to just keep things as simple, whole, and not necessarily plain, but you again, simple, real salt, good seasonings,
Dude, the salt is
sourcing
very
things.
important. We buy the expensive ass salt. We get the good the Celtic salt, the Redmond's fucking mineral salt.
Of
Like
course.
it's
Yeah.
all good. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of which, too, I'm now realizing that it even goes further now that I'm doing my best to dial in the food. Really, truly, I've always kind of hyped myself up over the years that I'm doing good, but I think this year is really where I'm finding a lot of positive motion. And the minerals, actually getting the minerals in your like self body. I don't know. That sounds so
Yeah, dude,
elementary to put it
I
that way.
take an absurd amount of supplements and just like mineral, like I take the zinc, the magnesium, and not I don't take like a multivitamin. I take them all, like I like mega dose all of it, dude. I'm just like because the multivitamins have like the 80%, 125%. Like I'm taking like the vitamin E, the vitamin D, the zinc, magnesium,
I've been told
the
it's probably
NAD
better
plus. Yeah, because like
to chop them up as
if
opposed
you're
to just take one big.
yeah, I mean I probably need a little bit more than most people type of thing too, though. You know what I mean? Like I'm very active. I sweat a lot. I like so like
You know your body.
I'm 210 pounds. So I go through it probably quicker than most people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah, I really truly believe in kind of the thumbprint theory of just everybody's got a different thumbprint. Everybody's got a different thing and DNA bio makeup that you have to find out what's going to work for you. And if you don't do anything at all and you just kind of say, "Oh, that's bad. The way you're doing it, that's bad," you don't understand that it's not kind of what we were saying earlier. The information is out there with social media, with the internet, but folks, take it upon yourself
yeah,
to do it for,
experience it.
yeah, yeah. All you're doing is reading it and then giving it an opinion and
Yeah.
attaching an idea or a story to it, as opposed to actually doing it and feeling the results of change.
Yeah. That's why the supplements that I buy mostly are from a guy that I don't think a lot of people like, but his company is Mito Life, MITO Life. And
Yeah,
his
I've heard of
name's
that. I've heard of that, guys.
his name's
Matt
Matt
something.
Blackburn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Matt Blackburn, dude. He's fuck. I think I just like his information. He's no bullshit. Like he's made a bunch of money through his supplement line, and he buys all of the fucking products, dude. And he tries all of the products, and he has the little finger scanner. Like he can literally like do his blood work at any moment. So he's like taking the scans after taking the methyl blue, taking like high doses of vitamin E, taking high doses of just like zeolite and like things like that. And he's like, look at my levels. Like these things are like some people like they're haunting to some people and they're like mega dosing these things is bad for you. And he's like, I'm going to do it and use my scientific equipment and prove to you, at least through my body and myself, which everyone is different, obviously. But like, here's a baseline study that you can see with your own eyes that I'm doing to myself that can give you an idea of whether it can help or not.
And that just really goes on to the point of, again, doing not only doing your own research, but people are just so into a culture of trashing people who are in this realm of taking care of yourself. I don't know what it is about just wanting to share that, if you see somebody partying their ass off, you go and smash that like button quicker than
Yeah, you
anything,
see me hitting the 315 bench, and they're like, "Fuck that guy, dude." No one's doing that on the weekend, man.
Oh, that's my favorite, is that kind of like jargon. I had a buddy who recently just broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the
I saw, yeah, Mike, yeah, dude, that shit's insane, bro. I know It's funny because you mentioned that Bob dude earlier. I met his dad and had a conversation about you all in the steam room at the Chews in Highlands Ranch. It's funny how like the names you hear and shit, like all
Yeah.
just like.
No, and it was.
But
it
were
was
you there for him breaking the record?
I was not there, but I
Okay.
definitely was talking to him on the day of and just texting him and just letting him know. He was so focused, he didn't even hit me up till the next day. But it's like,
No, that guy seems insane.
he's dialed.
Some people are built different, bro, and that's a real thing too. Like once you realize what kind of person you are, like so there's some levels that you have to understand. Like you won't reach that.
Yeah, well, and like, yeah,
I'm not gonna hold 315 pounds over my head with one arm on a barbell. Like I know that I don't think I want that as a goal, or how even
I think it was like 250, but still.
But no, not his his get up, just him holding the like he can just hoist that shit up there, bro. And I'm like,
and
what?
then throw a 75-pound kettlebell in the other arm, because what he's really he's just really studied the golden ages of lifting, where I like to joke around where he's kind of like one of those guys that they would make fun of in Family Guy from like the Looney Tunes, where it's like, we're gonna lift iron weights in our leotards today. Yep, and like, good day to lift giant heavy triangular weights.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah, I saw a video of him yoking, I think is what it's called, where it's the whole body thing that you pick up and walk with.
Yeah.
With the shoulder pads, and it's just like a whole rack that you walk with weights.
500 something pounds.
Yeah, and it was so comical because he was threading it with a video of these guys who were trying to say that he was juicing. And I was like, you've got to be out of your damn mind if you think I was like, look at his natural composition. Look at like the like parts of his body that are just real versus he doesn't have the big, crazy, vascular, Ronnie Coleman looking structure. Like, get out of town.
And even like that's also something that a lot of people misjudge or like just don't understand, because like but Ronnie Coleman was a fucking beast before he even juiced. Like there are
and a smart guy
people,
too, because
there are certain people
blood work.
Like there's certain people
doctors
who, like it's PEDs, but it's genetics, dude. Like not everyone can go just blow the fuck up on PEDs, or there would be more people jacked. Like there's way more people on PEDs than there are that like you'd be like that you notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now with all
and then like people, like some people like think like they're like, are you like, do you do anything? And I'm like, whoa, no. Like what?
Yeah.
It's a weird game of like it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and then you got peptides and other things that are in the mix now that are a lot cleaner, I would say, on the body, because if you really do your actual homework, or you kind of break down these documentaries or these pieces of history that I've personally watched, like Icarus or any of Arnold's gold footage, things like that, you look at the cultural shift of how these guys at one point were using steroids, but it's not like people think about in the movies or in some of these other settings where, like I was saying earlier with Ronnie Coleman, he was getting blood work done every 3 or 4 months. He had a personal doctor he was working with. The dude genetically was 6+, almost like 300 pounds, He had the right setup, and also putting in the work. I mean, good Lord. You cannot.
If that shit doesn't hype you up, dude, when I'm lifting heavy weight, dude, I'm like, lightweight. I'm like, this shit is easy, dude. And like in my own head, like I like, that's another thing that I think is like the belief in yourself and what you're doing and what like the weight you're putting yourself under, and like the mindset you have of like, I'm going to do this because it is easy, even if it's not, you know what I mean? It's like it's like the false positivity. Like if it's like it's real shit, dude. Like you're speaking it, it's real. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yep. As well as
a lot of the times when I go, like if you ever work out with someone or you ever get someone to spot you or ask you for a spot, like I hope to get, fuck all that. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to do this many. I always tell they're like, I think I'm gonna try for 3. I'm like, no, you're gonna get 3. Let's go. I'm like, that's not even a thing, dude. This is easy. You got this. Even if they don't get it, I don't care. That's the mood we're gonna have going into this.
right. And it's nice to know as well that folks like Ronnie Coleman, folks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, they've also educated people on what not to do, on being like, hey, all this now has caused me to have my spine fused in one piece. I'm on crutches. I now have to work out in a different way.
Ronnie Coleman, he's even on video.
Still doing flies.
But I'm saying back in the day, he was like, on bench press and on incline, you don't full extend. Like, like he's just pumping reps instead of like full, because he's like your joints, man. Like you don't need, he's lifting so much weight that
eight times Mr. Olympia.
It fucked his joints up anyways without the extension.
Yeah, 8 times Mr. Olympia, you're just gonna be screwed. It's like
no matter what, because you worked that hard. That's how hard he worked.
Yep. And then the Dorian Yates of the world, people like that. I think it's great that he's like I think he's in his like late 60s, early 70s, and he now tells people about what he does naturally, what he learned from using anabolic steroids. So it's not something we're not saying go out and just do steroids. Go out and try PEDs for fun.
I would suggest all the stuff we talked to prior, do all of that. And then if you still feel like you want to do some steroids, maybe have fun. I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's just interesting.
All the other.
It's just interesting because people are just so quick to judge. That's really what I'm saying at the end of the day is that people think that hard work is steroids. People think you're, like you said earlier, you have to tell people like, no, I've worked my absolute butt off to look even close to this. And most of those people on
steroids, most of the people on steroids who look like that work way harder than me. Or like, you know what I mean? Like the work is not, it's different and people don't understand that. It's what they do. It's you go to work and you make a paycheck. They do that. Like that. That is all they do when they look like that.
Having the understanding of things like the Tour de France would not be possible without PEDs because
your body's not capable.
Lance Armstrong, they had to strip down to the 17th person in place and give it, I think the 17th or 18th person to give them the medal because that's how many people it took to get down to who wasn't using,
all right, what's the real time that people can maybe achieve?
Well, that's why Icarus is such an interesting documentary because this guy does like it's like the US, there's like a US version or some sort of like other races that kind of pre-qualify you to get into the tour. And he just documents about being a semi-professional cyclist and a filmmaker where he does it one year and almost hospitalizes himself, is just dead to the earth. And then, and this was made so long ago that it's all, history at this point, but meets up with the head of the Russian doping agency, who happens to be the guy who has been helping the Russians cheat for how many years now? He was the main guy that would handle the urine samples and was able to deliberately and genius level thinking switch all sorts of different samples so that the Russians never, ever got caught with. They were even, he said, the only people they weren't giving steroids to were the figure skaters because it made them look too not like a figure skater.
Every single person at the Olympics from Russia is just fucking.
Yeah, and that's what they were doing, and a lot of it with cycling is blood doping. A lot of it is EPO. A lot of it is these more unheard of, PEDs that aren't just these, the trend, the Winstrol or however or whatever category you want to put it in.
I follow a cyclist on Instagram whose thighs are not even real. They're like my core per leg, dude. It's the absolute, and he's doing 480-pound Bulgarian split squats, and you're like, what's happening?
Right.
What's happening?
And it's all about just how they go through the process of, this guy ends up through the documentary, and I think it probably had something to do with it, as well as it was probably already just going to happen anyway. Putin gets involved because it's like, oh, you're kind of like, showing this guy like everything that we did, and he ends up having to go into like a witness protection program, and is like it's a whole thing.
I know what you're talking. I think I remember hearing about all of this. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Icarus, it's a beautiful documentary, to be honest with you. It's actually very well done and super thrilling to watch because it just showcases that Olympic sports have just kind of been not necessarily fully tainted, but there's definitely a history of a lot of this interesting lore that gets tied together with a lot of, whether it's Russia, America, other countries, these trends of these things weren't just, Michael Phelps having a 10,000 calorie diet and showing people that he's, eating this and this, and it's just food that is affecting their performance, which it totally is. Let's not, get that.
Yeah, that's a part of it. That's a part of it for sure.
But just realizing that it's not like as a kid, I'm sure you and I may have shared, maybe we didn't, the same mental mindset that when I watched the Olympics, I didn't even think about it. I didn't think that people were behind the scenes doing all this weird biomechanical hacking.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like it's weird growing up because it's not just the Olympics. It's like the Olympics. It's the government. It's it's like it's everything that you grew up just thinking there was nothing really going on. It's like, no, there's a whole background of everything that's happening that you will learn about when you get older. And it's all pretty weird. It's all very weird and interesting.
And now food is just the biggest thing because it's all this stuff that we're coming out that I didn't ever think that I had people I knew that were affected by food, that now after kind of not following or tailing their life, all of a sudden you're like, how did Terry get fat? Or like, how did how did so-and-so, I didn't think that these people could, whoa. So it's wild because it's almost like that you see the light moment, and it the world silences and these moments all add up, and day after day, I just have these little split moments in time of all right, I need to keep on this routine of taking care of myself, working out, walking, moving, water, hydration, minerals, food. It all plays a part in, dare I say it, having that clean plate, So it's wild to just the vastness of the energetic exchange you can have with yourself if you just think about the relationship you have with stuff like food. And that didn't even really start clicking in for me until I quit drinking, because my brain was just so washed with alcoholic thoughts and other addictions, and food.
Yeah. Food's
taste,
like that. I need that to live.
and shitty food tastes great when you're drunk. Bad food that's not good for you just tastes so good when you're all wasted.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like it all plays a role in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to bring us home, where it's like all of these things, whether it's your mental space, the minerals that you're putting in your body that affect you, the sunlight that you're getting, or, avoiding it with, not avoiding sunlight, but avoiding the harmful parts of it and getting the good parts of it, getting away from harmful parts of light is what I was kind of trying to, toxic light, things like that's why I got these raw optics on, I can see your glasses are blue blocking as well. It's little steps that people can dig or embrace with you on it. That's kind of, again, that's why I surround myself in a community of people who, when I have these types of conversations, it's not weird. It's not weird that my friends, when, like back in the day when I used to see you at the gym and we would just chop it up about healthy food and activities and things that are good for you and drinking water, and it's all that simple stuff that gets kind of just off the beaten path when, for me personally, when I just started not caring. And now that I do, it's just a whole different world.
Yeah. And you should care, dude. We're all we got, man.
Absolutely. Well,
you gotta be there for people that you love.
That couldn't be more true. That rings home for a lot of people, and I think it's a real philosophy to live by.
Yeah.
But Ryan, I really want to appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on today. I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. It's been so awesome to just branch into these different subjects with you and dive in and kind of get to know you better on that note. I'd love to have you on again sometime just to keep catching up with you in the future about things you're doing and, the fam and everything.
Yeah, dude, we gotta come by and then cold plunge and sauna, dude. We're right down the street. So
you guys are more than welcome anytime you want. Like I said, we can accommodate for the little one too, because our house is a cottage home. So it's a little smaller. It's just me and my girlfriend and our dog. So
nice. We'll get into that later. Where are you at? Tell everybody.
Yeah. Well,
my address.
Yeah. Scratch, reverse it. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media and the projects you're getting involved with and things that you're doing in your life and how people can just stay in touch with you.
Yeah. My Instagram is Rhino to the Moon. It's just a bunch of me living life, basically. It's a lot of my family these days, some workout stuff here and there. I got these awesome new heavy sandbags that I'll be just making some fun videos with. I manage a local coffee shop, and if you're in Denver at Copper Door, come see me. We may have some things in the works coming up here. They're on pause, but yeah, man, we're out here. We're spending most of our time at home, hanging out with the family right now with the newborn and the lady. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Ryan. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. And remember, keep your plates clean and your hearts full. Thank you for joining me today on our flavorful journey here at Clean Plates. If you enjoyed our exploration into the world of food and the stories behind our eating habits, be sure to subscribe where you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share your own food stories on my personal page at Brian Waterleaf or the Clean Plates podcast page on Instagram. And remember, every plate has a story and we are here to discover them together. So stay curious, keep exploring, and continue to nurture your relationship with food. I'm Brian Romaine, and until next time, keep your plates clean and your hearts